Hi guys, and welcome to yet another beautiful tutorial. So in today's one, quickly guys, I'm going to be taking you through the process, the cutting and the sewing of this beautiful piece that you can see on your screen. It's both a one-sided Bubu dress and a one-sided sleeveless dress. Don't mind what you're seeing here. This is because I had to wear this to church, and that's why I had to attach this to make it look decent enough for church service. But that notwithstanding, I'm going to be showing you how to make exactly what you can see on your screen. This is because I had to do this because that's what I wanted. Okay, so if you are interested in this particular one, why not sit your back, relax and enjoy watching while I take you through the process of getting this piece of beauty done. So first of all, you have your fabric folded into two using the length. Okay, so for the folding, this is what it looks like. I folded into two using the length that I want, and then I have this folded area notched, okay, so that I will know where the folding is. And for the length, I used a longer length because that is what I wanted. Okay, but for the style in particular, the length you should use is some inches below your knee, okay, which is around 42, 43 or even 44, depending on the height of the person that is going to be wearing it. Okay, but so basically for the length, you use the length that you prefer. Okay, so that's just it about the length. So at this point where my fabric is folded into two, I have it ironed out so that it makes it very obvious for me. So you choose one side of the fabric. So from this point, I'm going to be measuring the hip measurement divided by 4 plus seam allowance of 2 inches. Okay, so you measure that from one side, not from the center. So from this point, I measure the hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2, which gave me 12. So I measure 12 all the way from up to the length of the dress. So once you're done measuring your hip measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches all the way down, you connect that with a straight line from the shoulder down to the dress length. Now that we have these points all the way down, this is going to act as our center fold. What I mean basically is that this line you can see all the way down is now our center fold. So at this point, I'm going to be measuring all our vertical measurements all the way down, and those includes the armhole length, the breast point, the shoulder to under bust, the shoulder to the hip, and of course the dress length. Okay, so I have the armhole marked, this is the breast point, and here is the half waist, and then here is the shoulder to the hip length. Okay, so that's basically it for the vertical measurement. And now from this our center fold, like I said, you're going to be marking your shoulder measurement divided by 2, and you come down to the armhole length. You also mark at that point your shoulder measurement divided by 2, and you connect with a straight line like so. So that's it for the armhole length, after which you get the armhole length divided by 2, get the midpoint like so. So from the midpoint, you connect or you curve your armhole using an armhole curve. Okay, so that's basically it for the armhole. And next is to impute all our body circumference measurement divided by 4. Note that because this fabric is a stretchy fabric, I'm not going to be adding a seam allowance because we want it fitted, but I do not want my own too fitted. Okay, so I just use the body circumference measurement divided by 4 because I'll be using half an inch to hold it all the way down. So I did that at the bust. Coming down to the under bust round measurement, I also divided by 4. Also to the waist measurement, I divided by 4 and have that marked out. Also at the hip measurement, you divide by 4 and also have that marked out. Like I stated earlier, there is no need for a seam allowance for this particular one. One, because the fabric is stretchy and you want it very fitted. So I connect all the points from the armhole all the way to the dress length. Okay, so for the down part of the dress, depending on how fitted you want it to be, so for whatever you have at the hip measurement, you can take out as much as 2.5 inches or 3 inches, then you connect all the way from the hip down to the dress length. Please bear in mind that the length I'm using here is longer. Okay, so from the center fold area, I mark out the neck width, which is 2.5 from this side. Okay, and the other side as well, I also mark out 2.5 inches. That's making the total neck width to be 5 inches. So from this other side of the neckline, I'm going to be connecting to the armhole to give me the asymmetrical neckline shape. So basically from the neckline after the center fold line, you connect to the armhole length, and next from this center fold line, we are going to be marking the other side of the sleeve, which is the Bubu side. So from that center line, which is our center back, you mark all the way to the length of the sleeve, which is a long length. So I'm going to be marking that all the way down, but not to the dress length. Basically this measurement should terminate somewhere before the hip measurement. Okay, so that's from the center back area to the ankle. Okay, so that's basically what we measured here. So I connect those with a straight line like so. So after that, I'm going to be marking our cowl shape measurement from somewhere around the 12 inches 13 inches. That's where you begin the shaping. So from that point you mark all the way down to the length of the dress using your cowl formation. Okay, if you are familiar with bubu making, cowl formation should not be a hard one, but in case you do not know, this is basically it. So from that point that I said, you just connect with a curve like so all the way to this point. So this is what the formation looks like, after which I start cutting out all the marked out shape that I already did. At this point, as you can see, it's already looking like what the dress looks like. Okay, so that's basically it for the marking and then the cutting. So I continued cutting all the way around the cowl area, and then this is what we have at the end of the day. So after the cutting, it's time for us to start stitching. And for the stitching, I'm going to be using my seam allowance, but like I stated earlier, I'm not going to be using the ½ inch that I said. I'm going to be using 1 because I noticed that the ½ inch is going to make it a little bit loose. So I used 1 inch to stitch all the way from the armhole to the dress length. And after the stitching, this is what it looks like. I'm opening up the seam so that you can see what it looks like. So this is what the seam looks like, and I'm going to be opening up the seam using a pressing iron because this is what I do so that the finishing comes out looking very perfect. So I open up the seam and I iron both in and out. So after ironing, this is what it looks like. So I turn to the right side of the dress as well. I also give it a good press. Please note that you iron this particular type of fabric on a low heat. Okay, I made sure I ironed every single seam. So after that, it's time for me to sew the other side of the dress. So to do that, I also come back here to mark out all the vertical measurement like I did in the beginning. But this marking at this point, I'm not making it visible because this is the right side of the dress. So the points I marked here are the breast points, the under bust, the half waist, and the shoulder to the hip. So at the breast point length, I mark the bust measurement divided by 2, not 4 at this point. I got that. And then at the under bust, we divide the under bust round measurement divided by 2. There is no seam allowance, you remember. Instead, you are supposed to even take out because the fabric is stretchy. Also at the half waist, the waist measurement you divide by 2, and then you have that marked out. You come down to the hip area, you divide the hip measurement by 2, and you have that also marked out. So that's basically all those. And then I'm going to be connecting all the way to the dress length using my curve. You can see that the down part looks penciled, but you're not seeing that because, like I said, this is the right side of the fabric and I'm not going to be making the marking very visible. So I just connect that. I hope if you look closely, I hope you can see the points I already marked out. So this is what the shaping looks like. Can you see that? Let me zoom so that you can see clearly. So this is what it looks like all the way down to the length of the dress. So at this point, I'm going to be stitching all the way down using the point that I marked at this other side of the dress. So after stitching, this is what it looks like. So the one of the stitching is inseam and then the other one is out. Okay, like you already know, the fabric is stretchy, so this is me just proving to you that this is a stretchy fabric, but you can also make this without a stretchy fabric. In that case, you are going to be using a zipper at the side of the dress. Okay, so at this upper armhole area, you can see what the curve at the armhole looks like. I'm going to be reducing that because if I leave it this way, it's going to make the bust area a bit loose. So I'm going to be taking that in by 1 inch on both sides to give it a firm look at the bust area. And this is our symmetrical neckline, so we're going to be finishing that. So you weave and then you stitch down like so. Okay, so that's basically how you finish the neckline. You just weave and then you fold it, and also at the sides of the dress all the way down, you're going to be doing the same. You have it weaved and then you have it stitched or hemmed. Okay, so that's basically what the finishing of the dress should look like. This is basically the last part of this dressmaking, but note that in this one I did not use the fringe that was used in the sample. So after you do that, you just attach your fringe on it, and that's it for the dress. And at the end of the day, this is the look I have. This is because I wanted some alterations in mind, but for yours, if you want it exactly like you can see on the screen, that is perfect. So basically for mine, I altered 3 things. 1, the length. I made mine longer. 2, I didn't attach the fringe that was attached in the sample. And then thirdly, I didn't make it as fitted as it is on Vicky James and this other lady, because I'm not so comfortable with anything that, you know, clinges to my body like so. That's basically the good side of fashion. You choose what works for you. And with this, we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please do subscribe if you haven't, like, and also drop your thoughts about this dress in the comment section. Thank you and see you in my very next tutorial. Bye.